This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Folks, I can't tell you how creepy this show is this week. This show is creepy because guess what I just found out? I'm in this room with, like, Lily's parents' ashes. I had no idea that I was in a mausoleum doing this fucking show, but apparently she said her cat's ashes are here somewhere, and her mom's ashes and her dad's ashes. And this is the weird thing, they're all in an Etch-a-Sketch. Like, it's... So you can draw, like, happy death photos and then shake them up. Zing, 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 and then their ashes erase everything. That's horrible, right, folks? I mean, that's weird. Is that weird to you? Because I just said to her, I go, I don't know, why do you even have the ashes? And she's saying that, like, her family divvied up the ashes, like, because she had brothers and sisters. They're von Stupps all over the country. And apparently all of them have a thimble full of mom. Oh, my God. It's horrifying. I mean, and it's like, now I out of the corner of my eye, like, I'm looking at this little green bottle. I'm like, oh, dude. And you know, I want to spill it. You know, I want to spill it. Just to see, like, is there a tooth in there? What if there was a tooth in there, dude? Oh, man, who's got ashes? That's awful. I'm horrible. No wonder this room makes me yawn. It's because your mom is trying to speak through me. That's what's happening. It's like, every time I yawn, she's sell something. That's what she's saying. Straighten up, clean your room. That's what your mom wants to say. And she's trying to get it out of me via the yawns. I'm yawning a lot today, folks. Jesus, I had 4 hours of sleep. That's not good. But now that I'm in a ghost room, I'll fucking stay awake. Now that I know that if I fall asleep, some weird spirit will take over, then I need to absolutely I'll put toothpicks in my goddamn eyes. I'll prop open my eyelids to make sure I don't catch any Z's. How do you sleep in here? Good God, it's creepy. They be invading your dreams. Oh. All right. So I'm Mike Schmidt. I'm the host of this show. That's Willy Wonka. She's the producer. I say Willy Wonka because when I walked in, she's got a cane now. That's like, it's not even, because she had crutches, folks. Lily had knee surgery. We've all discussed this. We all know about that. And so she's been hobbling around on crutches that she put, like, pink feathers on, which, you know, that's Lily. That's who she is, man. I'm surprised she didn't rhinestone the shit out of her car at this point. But she's got her crutches covered with pink boas and feathers, and everybody, oh, we love them. But now today she answered the door. And you know when Willy Wonka walks out at 10 a.m. and he's walking with a cane and he's, like, deliberate, and then the cane gets stuck in the cobblestones and he does the somersault? Yeah, she did that, except there were no cobblestones. Like, she's like, and she goes, I'm only down to like one crutch, and then she's hobbling around on this thing. Oh man, it's just like, honestly, I'm gonna have her ashes soon. I think she's walking around with this cane and stumbling around her house. Oh Christ! All right. So I guess what I'm saying is be nice to Lily when you see her. Go ahead and be nice to Lily bunched up. She needs it. She's hobbling around with a Wonka cane. Got a room full of dead family members and pets. Why do you have your cat's ashes? How does that happen? That doesn't make any sense. Why cat's ashes? Man, to me, the only time I would have my cat's ashes is if he accidentally got set on fire in my house. That would be it. I mean, I'm sorry, I couldn't see the paying for the cremation fee of the cat alone. I think we all know, folks. I think pets are like sunglasses. I've discussed this. That you lose one, you get another one. That's fine. That's how it works. But your cat's ashes, boy, that just strikes me as odd. Do you put that in, like, around the house so mice don't come in? Like, can mice sense that it's like a cat spirit? Mice are like, oh, dude, that's totally like cat ashes. All right. So, I'm sorry, I'm half weirded out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in a goddamn crypt. I'm doing a show in a crypt. Now when I look at those wig heads, I'm gonna wait. One of them's gonna blink. Oh, this is nightmarish. All right. How are you? I'm good. Except for the fact that I'm surrounded by the dead. I'm apparently doing this show from the set of Phantasm. All right. That's a movie from a long time ago. With here's something creepy about that movie. All right, so in Phantasm, there's a ball with like a spike that flies around and hits people in the head. Awesome. But the rest of the movie is pretty much a whiff. I mean, it's not great. But there was a guy, and as I was a kid, we watched the movie Phantasm, and there's a guy in there named the Tall Man. He's like the bad guy. He works in the mortuary, and he's again, the plot is very hard to explain. Just know that there's a cool spiked ball that hits people in the head. So in Phantasm, there's this old dude, and the whole movie, for some reason, my brothers and I, we kept calling him Angus. Oh, here comes Angus. Like as we were watching our house. We weren't in a movie theater because then we'd be pricks. But we were in our house watching Phantasm, and we were like, oh, dude, watch out for Angus. Here comes Angus, because he's constantly chasing these young men. And these young men? What am I, a Boy Scout leader? He's chasing these young men. I'm a priest. So he's chasing these kids, like, throughout the entire film. And we kept going, oh, my God, Angus. Oh, get away from Angus. And then the movie ends, and we watch the credits, and that actor's name, Angus Scrim. Yeah, we knew he was an Angus even before we knew he was an Angus. We proclaimed him an Angus, then found him to be an Angus. That doesn't make any sense. That's the kind of thing that would happen if you had ashes in your house telling you what the guy's name was, sending you some sort of psychic message about what was going on in the afterworld. Although I don't know why they'd know about actors. That's in the actor world, not the afterworld. That's in the actor world. I'm stupid. All right. Oh, you know what? Here's what I wanted to tell you guys, because last week I got caught up talking about a festiva. 4th of July, man. Here's what I did. You know, my wife and I are driving, and there's an English pub by my house called the Fox and the Hounds. And I said, pull over. So I went in the English pub on the 4th of July, and I went in the bar, and I just went, boo! And I put the thumbs down. And they looked at me, and I said, 4th of July, boo, England. And then I left. I booed the entire bar. Walked in, because it was great, because again, they were, there's people in there, and they don't know what the hell's happening. Fat guy walks in, and just literally loudly thumbs down, 2 thumbs down in the air, boo. And the bartender looked at me, and everybody looked at me, and I said, yeah, 4th of July, boo, England. Adios. Left. Went out to my car. Karen's like, did you do it? I go, hell yeah, I did it. People are just looking at me when I leave, like, dude, seriously? Boo, England? I thought it was funny. And then what I should have done is I should have gone to all the English pubs all over town and done it, and then gone in and bought a can of trifle. There's a place down in Santa Monica. I've gone there before. It's an English pub, and I actually went and saw Ricky Hatton fight Floyd Mayweather there. And it was awesome because everybody was singing. It was beautiful. But they have a store next door that sells all this English food. So they have crisps and which are potato chips, but they call them something different. But they have weird flavors of crisps. Like they had smoky bacon crisps. So I go there and I'll buy like weird stuff, and then we'll eat a spoonful of it and throw it away because it's awful. Like that. I'm trying to remember the name of this stuff. Oh, they have sticky toffee pudding. They have that in a can. Oh, horrible. Look, I don't want to eat anything out of a can. All right. The only thing that should be in a can, your mom's ashes. That's the only thing that needs to be kept in a can. That's it. Oh, God, I am a jagoff. All right. I'm like, ha, your mom's dead and she's here. Jerk. Oh, dude. I haven't been. It's funny. I was just because they just had a thing in Chicago where like a bunch of people were dug up at a funeral, like at a cemetery, and then they displaced their bodies. Or, it's one of those stories where you hear the surface part of it and you go, I don't need to hear all of this. They're digging up graves and disposing of bodies to resell plots. And then my buddy Brian Noonan was talking about it on the radio, and he's like, well, if you have people buried, when was the last time you went and saw them? And it's like, I haven't been to my dad's grave in years. It's got to be at least 20 years. I haven't since I've seen my dad's grave, and he might not even be there anymore. Again, seriously, they could have dug him up, and he could be touring the country in some museum. I got no idea what they did with my dad's body. They fucking dug him up. You know what they did? They smoked his bones for the alcohol fumes, and they all got high. That's what they did. They all got drunk on his early times bones. Why'd you put it in your mouth? You think your mom like?
I have him in a jar.
Oh, you have my dad here? Oh, that's ladies and gentlemen, a special guest. My dad's ashes are here. Yay! Because Lily's decided to start renting out her house and make it part crypt to make some extra dough. Oh my word! I don't. Yeah, I haven't been to my dad's grave in like 20 years. That's brutal. And you don't ever want to say that. To say that you haven't been your 20 years. That seems long. Because I mean, that could be true. Because it's not. You don't do it. It's not like you go home and go, "Hey, let's all go see Dad's grave." I mean, I guess some people do, but I always found that like retarded and weird. And by retarded and weird, it meant I did not want to make the drive. I'm sure. I'm sure it's respectful and lovely, but at the same time, it's and it'll be different. Like when my mom goes. When my mom goes, I mean, I'll have to go all the time and bring flowers and do whatever you can do because I mean, my mom and I had a relationship. My dad and I really didn't. You know what I mean? He showed up. He slapped me around for 9 years, and then he bailed and then died. So good for you, pops. Suck on that. That's why nobody comes to your goddamn grave because you're such a jagoff in real life. Nobody's going to see you in the afterlife. Who knows what you're doing now? All right. Uh, that's awful. See, that's what you're. This is all Lily's mom. She's taking control of me for this show, and she's making me say things that I don't want to say. Oh man, it's been an awful couple of. First of all, I'll tell you this fucking story. All right, I'm in the fucking graveyard job, and I don't like talking about it because it reminds people that I do it. But I'm there. All right, so, it's always quiet there. I mean, it's nighttime, so you're just making sure that bad things don't happen. When bad things do happen, it's such a let's put it this way, when anything happens, it's such a fucking hassle. I'm just like, oh come on, really? Because I just want to go there and sit. You know what I mean? I walk around and make sure doors are locked, and then make sure nobody comes into the parking garage and does any bad things, and then that's fine. But then when something happens with somebody, you're just like, oh, I got to involve. This is like a job now. I got to fucking do this job. I don't want to do that. Some old lady lost her keys. Ah, fuck. That's going to be at least 15 minutes. All right. Because I don't like helping people, folks. I'm the anti-guy, like anti-helping people guy. The anti-helping people guy, the AHPG. That's who I am. I'm the AHPG. So I don't want anything to happen. But then I'm in the house. I'm there the other day, and it's like quiet. It's bone quiet. Again, I've said that before, and I don't know why I say bone quiet because there's not bone dry is something, but not bone quiet. Stop saying bone quiet. I got bones on the brain because of my dad's skeleton touring the nation. All right. So I'm there. It's like 5 in the morning, and I start hearing like noise, like kind of like whump noise. And I figure, of course, like we all do when you hear a whump noise, I figure it's the guy from Aha banging into walls to try to make himself human again. But so I'm like, well, hopefully he'll be done soon. Hopefully he'll go from being a static man into a human guy, and then I'll make out with that chick with the crazy hair, and everybody will be happy. But then I'm sitting there again, 5 in the morning, and someone punches the elevator button, and it goes up to like the second floor, and then I hear like loud noises. And I started to think someone was working out, like jumping up and down in the hallway or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I went outside and I looked at all the windows in the front to see if anybody had their lights on. Because again, it's 5 in the morning. It was about 4:45. And no, nobody's up as far as I can tell. So I go inside and I keep hearing this noise. I can't explain it. It's like this dragging whump. And then it gets closer because the elevator goes down to the first floor, but there's no noise, but then I hear it again. I hear it kind of in a hallway. There's stairs. If you don't want to take the elevator, you can take the stairs. So I hear this whump, whump. I go, well, fuck this. Now it's become enough of a nuisance that I figure I have to get my fat ass up and see what's happening. Because obviously I thought it was a fight. Like I'm like maybe there's a fist fight. I don't know what the fuck's happening. So I try to get a little frosty before I go up the stairs in case I'm walking into a huge confrontation. So I walk into the hallway and I hear like two people like kind of jabbering. They're talking. And I look up, and I see a dude, and I walk up the stairs, and they've got a couch. It's two people, a man and a woman, moving a couch at 5 in the morning, 4:45. And I look at them, and I go, what are you doing? They go, oh, we're moving this couch. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're moving a couch. You know it's 5 in the morning? You're being very loud. They're like, I know, but we got to get it outside before 5:30. I'm like, why? What does that even mean? Oh, because they're gonna come and pick it up, so we gotta drag it out and put it down by the curb. And I'm like, you didn't think of doing this last night? I mean, doesn't that make sense? They're like, well, we know we got. And then I go, all right, well let's. I mean, if we're gonna do this, let's do this. I go, did you try the elevator? They said it wouldn't fit. And I come around and I look at this couch. It is fucking huge. I mean, it is a gigantic couch. And I look at them, and it's like I said, it's a man and a woman moving this huge fucking couch. No wonder it's making whump noises. They're dragging it down the fucking stairs, banging it into fucking walls. They don't know what they're doing. So I go, all right, let's do this. So I pick up one end, and we go to swing it out. And I go, let's take it through the courtyard, all right? Because you're dragging it down the stairs and just making huge noises for people. And then we go to try to maneuver it out. It won't fit out the door. So I'm like, all right. So we try to spin it. We're fucking standing it up on its end. It's just fucking bullshit. We need a schematic to get it. I go, how did you even get this fucking thing in here? Oh, I don't know. Of course you don't know, because you're fucking high at 5 o'clock in the morning moving a fucking couch. So I'm dealing with the guy, and I basically get the woman out of the way because she's useless at this point. All she's doing is griping about the fact that they still have to do this. That thing where, when you start something, maybe you folks are familiar with it, but I'm very familiar with it. When you start doing something, and about halfway through you realize it's more difficult than you thought, and you just want to lie down and stop, that's what this woman is doing. She was like, yeah, let's move the couch outside, not realizing about angles and stairways. And, she basically, I thought she was going to magically put the couch in a bubble and float it out the fucking curb. I don't know what she thought she was going to do. But I will say this, to her credit, wearing nothing but a tank top and like jeans, but like no bra, and crazy, very excited to be moving this couch, folks, if you know what I'm saying. Very excited. So I can't stop looking at her tits, and I'm like, all right, well, you and your tits have a seat, please. No, your tits should stand up. You have a seat. So then we're moving the couch, and finally I get it. I go, all right, tip it up. We have to move it down 2 flights of stairs because they're still on the second floor. So we move it, and we finally drag it down, and we're able to lift it over the banister because, again, I can lift it. The woman couldn't lift it, so they're fucking dragging it down the fucking stairs. So I lift it, we move it down, then we get it to the second landing, and we have to get it down 1 more flight of stairs to get it outside. Now, I start to move it, and as I'm holding it, all of a sudden it dawns on me, this couch is wet. And and the only thing I knew exactly what it was, I smelled it when I first started moving the couch. Okay, it smells like cat piss. All right, then I realize it's probably bong water. Then I think maybe it was a bong filled with cat piss. That's the horrible smell that I get from this couch as I'm moving it. I'm like, this. It did. It smelled like, you know what? They may have packed a bong with their cat's ashes and taken some pulls and then spilled the water out. That's what might have happened, because I would have moved this couch at 5 in the morning too if it smelled like this. It is just the worst funk. It smells like they smoked a cat. I'm not fucking kidding. They packed right there. They packed a bong full of their fucking cat's ashes and. How do you like that for sound effects? They banged and they pulled a huge lung full of cat, and then they wound up spilling fucking snowball all over the goddamn couch. So that's why they're dragging the motherfucker out. So we get it to the landing, and I put the guy at the bottom because I'm not going to be at the bottom, folks. All right, I'm at the top, and we slide it down the stairs, and it was easy to get down the first landing because the ceiling wasn't on an angle. Now again, I got to remind you. It's now like 5:20 in the morning, and I'm pouring fucking sweat because it's hot, and I'm moving a fucking couch, and I'm staring at this chick and her fucking huge tits and it popping out of this tank top, and so then we go to move the couch, and the last obstacle is it's too tall to get through this landing because the ceiling is on an angle, and it's about 3 inches of clearance that is needed to get the couch through. So we're debating. We're like, what are we going to do? We got to move it this way. Now we got to move it this way. Now we got to spin it this way. We spin it one way, spin it the other way. I'm overcome by cat piss bong fumes. I mean, I'm just like, we got to do something. And this woman is being no fucking help because now she's sitting on the stairs bitching. Why did we even have to do this? Why do we have to move the goddamn... Shut the fuck up. This is your fault. Don't bitch. This is your goddamn fault. And I will tell you that this couple, we've had to go to their house a couple of times for loud arguments. And there have been... the police presence, like that kind of thing. Like these two don't get along. So by all means, what they should do is decide to move a large, heavy piece of furniture together, because that's not going to lead to somebody getting a pickaxe buried into the back of their fucking head in the middle of the night. So this 3 inches of clearance is driving me nuts, because then it's that weird microcosm of we've gotten this all the way down here, we've done the best that we can, and now these 3 inches are going to, really, that's what's going to keep us? I think I speak for every man in America when I go, I can't believe that these 3 inches are what's keeping us from having everything work out. So I finally, he's at the bottom. He's like, well, we could, and he's no help. Literally, he's just a human being that I'm telling how to do shit. And I got this couch, and finally I go, you know what? And it's funny, my buddy Mex has a phrase that he always says. He goes, dude, we'll just gangster through it. He always says that. And I'm like, fuck it, we're gangstering through this. So I just start beating the shit out of the fucking couch. I just start fucking elbowing it and hitting it as hard as I can to try to just basically square peg round hole it through this fucking 3 inches of clearance in the ceiling. And I bang it, and then it's starting to go, and I'm like, all right. So then I just fucking start throwing shoulders into it, and I put a shoulder into it, and it just goes, and it rips the stucco, I mean, like this huge racing stripe into the ceiling, and then it smashes into the lamp. Clang! It smashes into the light fixture. But I made it. I got it through the goddamn clearance. I might have taken a huge swath of ceiling with me, but I sure the fuck got that couch right through. Bangs into the light like a fucking, like a chip shot hitting a golf pin. Bang! And the guy looks at me, and it's literally like we're both covered in stucco. We look like barristers. We have so much white powder all over us because it just flaked all over me and him. I'm just like, great. So and then we spun the fucking thing around, and we took it out to the curb. And finally I said to him, and I go, seriously, why are you moving this couch? They're like, oh, because it's going to get picked up. I go, no, honestly, whose DNA is on this fucking couch that you need to get rid of it immediately at 5:30 in the morning? Why was it so urgent? And the guy's like, well, and the woman goes, we spilled something on it. Like because she's like done at this point. She's given up all pretense of a charade. She's just like, she's just happy to get it the fuck out of there. She goes, we spilled something on it. And I'm like, yeah, I know you did. That's all I said. Because it was the most horrible, like fucking, patchouli, skunkweed, fucking dead cat piss, bong water smell I've ever smelled. Oh, Jesus. And then we fucking put the couch on the curb. Now it's like 5:45. Literally, this took an hour to move a couch 2 flights of fucking stairs.
Did you know the 40-year-old boy has to buy a woman sandals because his feet are too small?
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, what the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Join EJ and Joaquin as they try to get to the bottom of one of life's greatest mysteries.
Back here on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner, I heard she's at a birthday party and she sucked helium out of a balloon, but instead of going in her throat, it inflated her head.
See, I had heard she fell off the stage doing The Graduate during like the nude scene, and she landed in the orchestra pit on her face.
I heard that same thing, but what happened was she got her head caught in a tuba, and it formed in the size of the tuba.
No, that you're thinking of Anne Margaret.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Find out on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Or was it Dick Shawn?
So we get back in the building, and like I said, it's like 5:40 now or something. And they're like, oh, thanks, man. And the woman goes, hey, if you ever want to have a drink, just come on up to our apartment. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's 5:40 in the morning. I think I'll pass on the gimlet. I think I'll pass on having a Rob Roy before the sun rises. Jesus Christ. I picture that woman just going upstairs and laying down where the couch used to be with an ice pack on her head. Oh, what a tragic morning. Yes, of course it was. Get out of your bottle, Alky. So if he's like, come up for a drink. But then part of me is like, and I won't lie to you, I actually had this thought because I think it's funny to be just like inappropriate, but in my head, like I would never be inappropriate this way out loud. I mean, I'm a jagoff, but I'm not that big of a jagoff. Like here's the thing. When I've been on the road doing stand-up, we've had people I will say that I'm a fan of this younger generation of people who don't exactly mind taking their clothes off. All right, let's put it that way. So like I've been in the club on New Year's Eve, and there have been girls who've been like, woo, and they've come over and they'd be like, you guys are really funny, and we're like, hey, flash us. And they're like, what? And they go, come on. We go, come on, flash us. It's New Year's Eve. And then they just pull their tits out. Like, it's happened. And I'm like, yeah. So honestly, I moved this couch, and she was like, come up and have a drink. Part of me wanted to go, show me your tits. I swear to God, like in my brain, and I know it's like a weird chauvinistic guy thing to do, but I mean, there was just this thin layer of cotton separating me from seeing her tits. What is it going to do? Just pull them up. Just seriously, whoop, just a quick flash, and it makes me carrying out your cat piss covered couch worth it. It's worth it for me at that fucking point. Show me your tits. Like literally, and I'm not that guy. I'm not some meathead who thinks that way, but when you get that anonymity, part of you is like, yeah, I want to do that. Like, I guess maybe if I was working there one night, maybe I would have said it. Like, because again, on the road, it was never a problem. You know what I mean? Because, you'd have girls being crazy, like, woohoo, yeah. And you'd be like, yeah, hey, why not, come on, flash us. It's the 4th of July. Bang. All right. So I will admit that thought did cross my mind where I wanted to go, hey, why don't you show a little something for the effort? Show me your tits. I just helped you move a couch. Because I don't think she would have had a problem with it. She seemed that kind of a blousy dame. So I mean, hell, she's offering me she's inviting me up for drinks at 5:30 in the morning. Who knows? So I go, no, I think I'll pass on a drink. And I said, do me a favor though, you got to clean up that hallway. And the guy's like, what? And I go, dude, there's fucking stucco all over the place. I mean, he and I we have scary ghost faces. I'm like, dude, I mean, it's all over the floor. So just do me a favor, clean that up. He's like, okay. So I go into the office, and I'm fucking covered in sweat, stucco all over me. Literally moving one couch. It's more of a workout than I've had in fucking 8 months, folks. I told you, I gave it up. I packed it in. I sit around doing fucking nothing. My cardio's for shit. So moving this couch has me, but I will tell you that there's whenever I start doing something like that, then I get this weird physicality where now I want to do a bunch of shit, like I'm going to fight or punch something or lift stuff. Like I get that weird aggressiveness because you get your fucking adrenaline flowing. So I'm a little hyped up. And all of a sudden, it's like 5:40. I'm like, oh, I'm out of here in 20 minutes. And I hear like someone running downstairs. And usually there's people leaving to go to work, so I mean that's fine. I see them. All of a sudden, I just hear, like I can't even do it justice. The loudest vacuum cleaner I think I've ever heard in my life. And I know it's not that loud. It's just it's 5:40 in the morning, and you're running a fucking vacuum cleaner, and it's coming from the hallway. And in my head, I just go, that dipshit is not vacuuming up the stucco. And sure enough, I walk in there, and it's a guy. It's the guy, because again, the woman has checked out at this point. She's upstairs fashioning a sidecar for herself, and taking a handful of pills, indiscriminate pills. She doesn't know what they are. She just found them on the couch before they threw it out, and she's throwing on a handful of them. And this guy's vacuuming. Just what a hump. And I look at him and I go, hey, and he looks at me, huh? I go, dude. And he turns the vacuum off, and it's when a vacuum's going, it's crazy loud, and then he turns it off, and it's like pin drop silent because it's just this crazy noise, and then also no noise at all. I imagine it sounded like what it would be like to die in a car accident. Like you'll sit and you're just like and you hear this loud like smashing of metal, and then nothing at all. You're just fucking next thing you know, you're on somebody's shelf. So. I look at him and I go, dude, you can't vacuum in here. He's like, you told me to clean it up. I go, yes, get a broom. Do you want a broom? Anything? Something? A wet cloth? Jesus God, don't vacuum. It was loud enough at the couch. Like now I lose my shit and the guy, and I'm not his boss. Why the fuck am I yelling at this idiot? I gotta shut the fuck up. But instead he you know why? Because he had that kind of personality, that sheepish. Like she was, ordering him what to do. So now I just take over for her. I become her at that point. Without a tank top. All I needed is a tank top at that point. And I go, dude, you can't vacuum in here. If you want to come and vacuum later, that's fine. But get a broom and just scatter the shit around. I mean, it's insane. It's 5:30 in the morning. And he's like, okay, sorry. And he troops upstairs. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, I'm sure this isn't my last adventure with that couple. I know more horrible things are going to fucking happen with them. Oh, Jesus. Tough couple of weeks, folks. I'm in a war with technology. I'll be surprised if this show actually gets posted because for some reason, I have like a positive charge, and everything I get near, I'm erasing or destroying. Anything technological that I own is being massacred. It's the rise of the machines. That's what it is, folks. It's the rise of the machines. It's Terminator, and John Connor is going to come back and ruin everything that I own. It's just I can't explain. It starts a couple of weeks ago. I'm in my wife's car. I love my wife. We all love my wife, right? She's great. She puts up with me. The fact that she even deals with me, she's a champ. I use that's right. I use a word from the 30s. I fall back. My wife's a champ because she puts up with my nonsense. But sometimes she does stuff, and I want to get mad. It's like she doesn't think. Like she, my wife smokes, and so our whole house smells like, fucking John Wayne's lungs. I mean, like the whole place just fucking reeks. except the bedroom. She can't smoke in the bedroom. That was my final rule. Like and she agreed to it. It's bad enough she smokes in the bathroom, and like my bath towel will be hanging on the shower rod, and then I go to take a shower and I dry off, and it's like I'm drying off with a cigarette filter. I am. It's like I'm just rubbing a big fucking Marlboro light all over my body after I got out of the fucking shower. Yeah, I feel clean. Fuck zestfully clean. I'm Marlboro clean. So she smokes everywhere. It's horrible. And then she smokes by the computer, and her ashtray is like on my desk because the computer's on my desk, and then there's ashes all over the keyboard. Like it looks like you're trying to find the nuclear codes in the middle of a Holocaust, because it's like there's just ashes blowing all over the desk. It's like a nuclear wasteland, and you're trying to enter the final password to save the Earth. I mean, it's just grim. So we're in the car. We're in her car, and I brought my cell phone with me. I have a Palm Treo, and I put it in the center console of because I don't have one of those hip things where you put your phone in your holster because I'm fat, and my phone would get swallowed up by the loose meat that hangs off of me, as we have all discussed. So I put the only place to put my Treo is I can put it in the door, but then it rattles around, so I put it in the center console, which is fine because that's where it goes. So it's in the center console, and we're driving. Karen and I are going to the Dodger game, and I don't need the phone, so it's in the center console. We're driving, and we get to Dodger Stadium, and I go to grab my phone, and I look over, and my wife put her bottle of water on top of my phone, as if it were a coaster of some sort. Just didn't even look. Just jammed a fucking bottle of Crystal Geyser on top of my phone. Condensation on that bottle dropped onto my phone. I pick up my phone. It's just color bars. Like the screen is it's pretty. It's certainly pretty. I don't think that's good news. So I pick up my phone and I go, Karen, why did you put the water on top of the phone? She's like, what? I go, look, the phone doesn't, like, what happened? Why would you put a bottle of water on top of the phone? She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it there. And I'm like, look, I know I'm sorry is good enough. Okay? I know I'm sorry is good enough. But in your head, you just go, that's a $400 phone. I mean, so then I pick it up, and like I said, it's all color bars. And so I go, well, I'll just reset the battery. I'll take the battery out, and that'll be fine. I open the battery, water comes out of the battery compartment. Like actual water comes out. I think it was my phone crying at the foolishness of my wife putting a bottle of water on top of it. My phone actually sobbed. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe what had happened. So I shake out the phone. That's not good, folks. It's like when you have a watch, they tell you it's waterproof. And I was a little kid. I got a watch one time. They were like, hey, it's waterproof. So, of course, the first thing I did was I put it on my wrist, and I jammed my arms into a sink full of water. And I'm looking at the watch. And I'm like, oh, look what time it is underwater. It's the same time as it is above water. And then I pulled the watch out, and it never worked again. C-3PO's arms were frozen at 10:12 the rest of my life. R2-D2 just staring disdainfully at me from the fucking face of the watch with droplets of water on him. End of Star Wars watch forever because it said waterproof. You lie! This is not the waterproof watch you're looking for. Of course it isn't. Thanks, Obi-Wan. I wish you'd have told me that before I jammed it into a fucking bucket full of dishwater. So my wife, unfortunately, did not have that experience with my Star Wars watch. So she just jammed a water bottle on top of my phone, and my phone decided to sob it out as I pulled out the battery. And I dried it out. I dried the battery, dried the back, and I put the battery in, and the color bars disappeared, and it looked like it was going to work. But then the phone just started trying to hot sync, like on its own. Like it does this thing where hot sync is when you plug it into your laptop or whatever you've jammed it up with, and it takes all the phone numbers and it speaks to it, whatever the fuck. So it just starts trying to do that on its own. Like just keeps blinking hot sync, and I'm like, oh boy. Well, I'm sure that'll stop eventually, right? We go into the game, and I'm trying to enjoy the Dodger game, but the whole time I'm thinking, my phone is fucking dead. I mean, it's got to be dead, right? Or should I just take it home? What's going to happen? So it actually works for like a day. Sure, it continues to try to hot sync even during all my phone calls and stuff, but I figure, well, that's okay. And then part of me is like, maybe you should just hot sync it and see what happens. But then I think, oh, dude, I don't want it. What if it sends out this weird, what if the phone tells my laptop how stupid I was for getting water in it, and my laptop decides, you know what, fuck you, buddy, we don't trust you anymore, and it kills itself. Like, what if that happens? So I don't want to even give the phone the opportunity to gum up the works with my laptop. I'm not letting them talk to one another. I keep them as far apart from one another as I possibly can. I do not want the phone influencing the laptop in any single way. So, 2 days go by. The hot sync thing continues. Finally, I pull the battery out. I put it back in, just color bars. That's all I get, color bars. Then I'm like, all right, well, that's probably really bad. So then I take them out, and I let the battery sit for a while, and then I put it back in to charge it. Now I don't even get color bars. I get the phone constantly just restarting. Like when a Treo starts up after you put the battery in, a screen comes up that says access powered, and then a light blinks, and then it goes and starts up. Well, this keeps catching on the startup, and it just keeps access powered, access powered, access. I'm like, all right, that's bad. We need to go to the Sprint store. So I go to the Sprint store. Now, you may remember my adventures at the Sprint store before with Blindy Fake Ierson. So I go, and he's there. I go, how are you, dude? And he's always friendly and nice. And I start telling him I think I might need to get a new phone. I might need to re-up. He looks me up. He tells me what it'll cost, and da-da-da. I go, all right, but the thing is I have this phone here, and I think can we get the phone numbers off of it? And he looks right at it, and it's blinking, and he goes, oh, no. I go, what? He goes, nah, I've seen this before. This phone's finished. I go, well, can't you go in and get the information? He goes, nah, I got to be honest, we're probably not going to be able to. He goes, if it was my guess, I would say this phone's probably got water damage. I look over at Karen, who's like busily, she's just picking up phones and going, hello, like talking into and I'm just like, oh, man. Did you hear what he said, hon? It sounds like water damage. Maybe I should get a couple of people from our apartment building to help me move the phone downstairs at 5:30 in the fucking morning. Spilled something on it. Yeah, no shit. Go ahead and drag my phone out and leave it by the curb for someone to take. Water damage. So I said, all right. So you're telling me that the 400 phone numbers and emails and contacts that I have in the phone, I'm not going to find them? And he goes, no, nah. He goes, well, did you sync it to your laptop? Like, I'm sure all the numbers are on there. And in my brain, I went, yes, you know what? I have synced it to my laptop previously. I don't remember the last time I did. This will be fun to check. So he's like, hey, man, why don't you take this? Here's a BlackBerry that you can get. And I'm like, you know what? I like BlackBerry. I wanted a BlackBerry last time. Why didn't I get a BlackBerry last time? There's a reason I didn't. I go, oh, yeah, does BlackBerry work well with Mac? He goes, oh, no. And I went, okay. In my head, I go, you know what does work well with a Mac? An iPhone. And I mentioned him, hey, what about an iPhone? He goes, oh, iPhones suck. And I go, all right, are you telling me that because you're Sprint Johnson, or are you telling me that because you're serious? He goes, no, man. He goes, BlackBerries are much better. I love BlackBerries. That's the way. That's what you got to get. You should get it. It's what we got right now. I said, okay, you know what? I'm sold, man. I go, I'll take a BlackBerry. Let's re-up me for 2 years because I like Sprint. I don't mind them. And he goes, well, there is a new BlackBerry coming out. I said, when? He goes, July 12th, which is like 6 days. He goes, but, that'll be 6 days without a cell phone. I go, well, all right, let me ask you. I'm going to ask you completely. What is your opinion? Should I wait the 6 days for this new BlackBerry? He goes, you know what? It's cooler looking. It's got an international thing happening. Yeah. He goes, if I was you, I would wait. I go, okay. If you think I should wait, then I'll wait. No problem. So I gave him my card, and he gave me his card. I said, cool, I'll be back in, and I'll grab it in 6 days. That's fantastic. I go, do you think you can get the numbers off? He goes, no, that's not happening. I said, all right, good. So Karen and I leave, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll come back and get the BlackBerry in 6 days or whatever. And we had to go pick up Lily that night, actually, because Lily and I, we were going somewhere. So Lily gets in the car, and I go, yeah, we're going to this address. And she goes, oh, I'll find out where it is. She punches it into her phone, and I go, what are you doing? She goes, well, the iPhone has like a map, like you can punch in where you're going, and then and she hands me the phone, and I see that we're on it. We're in a car, and it's following us. Like as we're driving, it's showing us where we're driving on her iPhone. Like we live in her iPhone. Me and my wife and Lily are going for a ride in Lily's iPhone. And I'm staring at it, and as we turn left, the computer has turned left. It knows where we're going. And I said to her, I go, what is going on? And she's like, oh, yeah, it follows you through, and it shows you where we're going. And I go, oh, I'm getting a BlackBerry in 6 days. She's like, that's great. She goes, here, take a look at this. And she shows me a picture, and she opens up her camera, and there's a picture in there, and then she puts her fingers on it, and she just flicks her fingers like if you were kicking a paper football through a goalpost, like if you were playing paper football on a table. And she does that, and it makes the picture bigger. And she moves it around. She's like, look, you can do this. I can move the picture around. I go, that's not useful at all. I must have it. And she's like, well, here, take a look at my phone. Dick around with it for a while. So I start looking at her iPhone, and she's got all sorts of pictures of her and clowns and people on there. And then I look at the internet, and then there's a compass on this phone. I don't need a compass ever. I'm not in the Blair Witch Project, but I got a fucking compass. I'm like, there's a compass on this phone. She's like, yeah. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with north if it punched me in the face. But now I can't. I have to have a fucking compass. Oh my God, there's a compass on here. And then there's like a weather setting. Here's the best. You can put in, oh my God, it has weather. You punch weather, and it tells you what the temperature is in New York. I don't fucking care, but I must have it. And then she goes, watch this. You can put any city you want in there. Oh my God. So I take her phone. I put in Bolingbrook, Illinois, where I grew up. And now whenever she looks on her phone, it tells her what the temperature is in Bolingbrook. Not something you need, but I must have it. Oh my God. So I'm looking at this iPhone. I start surfing the web. I look around, and I have to get one. So I make up my mind. I'm like, fuck it. I got to get this. I have to get it. So I did. I got an iPhone like the next day. And I'm like, I bring it home, and it's like, I have my laptop, and all of my, so this is like Christmas morning. I've got to open up my Palm software and find out how many of my phone numbers are on my laptop. It's like a fun little game. So I open it, and it says, it opens up my contacts, and it's got a bunch of names, and then it says, last time phone hot synced, December of 2007. Folks, I own the phone. I have the plug and the laptop. For a year and a half, I've neglected to hot sync my phone. Literally, it's this. This is what it takes to hot sync your phone. That's it. You click it into the computer, you click it into your phone, you hit a little button, boom, all your numbers are downloaded. I didn't do it for 18 months. Because in my head I went, well, fuck, what do I need to do that for? All my numbers are on my phone, right? Stupid. Sitting in an office for 8 hours a night staring at nothing, moving couches for fucking burnouts. You couldn't hot sync your goddamn phone? You goof. You deserve to lose your fucking numbers. So I have to go online and figure out how to put all of my Palm contacts into my iPhone. So surprisingly easy. All I did was I made a V card, dragged it to the desktop, and then put it in my iMac, my Macintosh address book. And I do all that, and then I hook up my iPhone, and they all go right in there. I had 155 numbers. So that means 245 numbers are gone. So if you folks know me and you want to send me your phone number, because I'm probably lost it if I had it, so go ahead and do that. That's, I guess, what I'm telling you. So that happens. So I get my iPhone synced up with my laptop, and everything's fine. Everything's all squared away. Then a week later, I'm at my house and I'm getting ready to split, and I've got my laptop plugged in, my iBook, my MacBook, and I'm downloading some podcasts. Like I'm downloading like 7 podcasts at once, and I had a couple of Safari windows open, and the computer starts to, you know how that your laptop starts to whir? It goes like, whir, and it like kind of the fan starts blowing or whatever, because I guess it's hot, whatever the fuck. I don't know how it works. So that's happening. I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Karen, and I go to move something on my computer, and the cursor disappears on my laptop. And I'm like, all right, that's bad. And the downloads all stop, and the cursor's gone. And the computer's really loud. Like, it's making this really loud, like a word. It sounds like the guy vacuuming the fucking hallway is what it sounds like. Like, it's that fucking loud. And then I'm like, all right, so what do I do here? So it freezes, so I reboot it. I reboot the computer. And when it comes on with a completely white screen. and a blinking folder with a question mark on it. Now, I am assuming the Riddler has somehow hijacked my machine. Because I know he's notorious for the question mark symbol. So he's taken control of my computer and turned it into a zombie bot for some nefarious plan to ruin Gotham City. That's the only thing I can think of. That, or like maybe You Don't Know Jack has taken over my computer, and there's a quiz, and I'm supposed to open the folder. You know what? Maybe I'm Matt Bourne. Maybe that's what it is. I'm Ethan Bourne. What's Bourne's first name? I don't know. It's Ethan Bourne, right?
Ethan.
Yeah, I'm Ethan Bourne. No, that's Ethan Hunt.
No, it's Ethan Bourne and Matt Damon.
It's Matt Damon, but Bourne's got a different name. It's
Jason,
not Jason Bourne. That's who I am. I'm fucking Jason Bourne. That bit would have been a lot funnier if I'd have nailed the name earlier. But that's who I am. I'm Jason Bourne, and somebody's sending me a packet of instructions via my laptop with a question mark on it. Okay, I can't find the cursor to open it. I just look at Karen, and I'm just like, I think my laptop just crashed. And she's like, what? And I go, I'm sitting here. It just disappeared. The cursor's gone. It's like a question mark folder. I don't know. I go, you didn't happen to put a bottle of water on top of this when I wasn't looking, did you? Because, I mean, that seems like something you might do. Because, again, I'm angry, folks, so I project it onto my wife. And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, nothing, never mind. I don't know what's happening. This is bad. And it's funny, so I call my friend who knows something about computers. And I go, look, can I bother you for 5 minutes? He's like, what's up? And I go, my Mac laptop stopped working. I rebooted it, and it's got a screen with a question mark on it. And he goes, oh, which is not a good noise, folks. He goes, your hard drive just crashed. I go, yeah. He goes, you need to hope that the genius guys at the Genius Bar can save it, because right now, I'll be honest with you, I don't think they can. And he goes, you're backed up, right? And he says that, and as he says that, I look over at the 300 gig external hard drive Maxtor One Touch that I have still in the box. Purchased expressly to back up my laptop. And I say to him, no, of course I'm not backed up. That would only be smart, right? I mean, you're talking to Mike Schmidt here, correct? And he goes, wow, I don't know what to tell you, man. He goes, you need to hope that they can do something for you, but I don't think they can. I said, thanks. And hung up the phone and made an appointment at the Apple store. I go in, and the guy turns it on, and they have like a little box that they plug it in at the Genius Bar. And by the way, Genius Bar, really? Could we be more pretentious? Is that possible? If you're going to do that, and everybody needs to look like fucking Einstein. They need to have crazy hair and the mustache, and you need to be wearing like a square graduation hat, and they should have like a mortarboard, and they should have a pointer. That's what all of them should do. They should look like the professor from Felix the Cat with a huge mutton chop mustache and a fucking evil plan. So I come in, and the guy turns on my computer, and he's like, yeah, we're not even recognizing the hard drive. I don't know what we're going to do here. I said, well, what does that mean? He goes, well, you were backed up, right? I said, it's a funny story. I last hot synced my phone in December of 2007. Did I mention that? So I did the same thing with my phone, and then when my phone crashed, I even said to my wife, hey, I need to back up this laptop. I'm not kidding you, folks. When the phone died, when the Treo ate it, I even said, Jesus, I got to back up this laptop. Because there's writing documents on there. And here, did I mention the 18,000 songs I had in iTunes? Yeah, that would be about 81 gigs of music. I look at the guy at Apple, and I go, hey, is there any chance of getting the information back? And he's like, that's also not a good noise. When the genius laughs, when the genius at the Genius Bar kind of chuckles softly to himself, you're finished. And he goes, no. He goes, you know what? There are data recovery places, and they can take your hard drive, but it's going to be anywhere from like $800 to $2,000 for them to try to do it. I go, okay. I go, well, can I have that hard drive? He goes, well, usually we keep it. And I go, okay. And he goes, well, I'll talk to a guy and see if we can do it. And he punches up my name, and he goes, well, you're under warranty. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, so I can just give you a hard drive, and I'll put it in for you right now because we have one in stock. So that was the only bright, shining moment of this entire fucking thing is I was in and out of the Genius Bar in, an hour and 45 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes of that is spent sitting there waiting to get your name called. I had a 9:15 a.m. appointment, still wound up sitting there surfing the net waiting because when people get to the Genius Bar, because it's so important and so hard to get an appointment, they will ask every question known to man. Like literally, they're talking about their computer, then they start asking about their marriage, then they ask the riddle of the Sphinx. I mean, anything that they can get an answer for, they're going to bleed it out of the fucking genius. They're like, you know, you're a genius? Guess what? Sit down, because I got a fucking scroll of questions that I'm going to run by you. So some redhead chick was going through her computer. It's like, you know, and again, half the time when people ring their computer, it's because their kid fucked it up. You know, they people tip the tower and fucking Apple Jacks fall out of it. You know, that's what happens. But I finally get up there. The guy does this, and they give me my new hard drive. And then he says, "Oh, well, I'll give you your old hard drive." He goes, "They said it's okay." So now I have my old hard drive. So if anybody out there does data recovery, because I said it to him, he's like, "It's like $800 to $2,000." I go, "Well, can I take the hard drive?" I go, "What if I find some like 17-year-old genius who can do it for $50?" He goes, "Well, that's never going to happen, but yeah, I'll give it to you." So I have the hard drive. The genius said, "Let's prove the genius wrong, folks. Let's do that." I have it. And the genius has said it will never be done for what the amount I've mentioned. So let's prove him wrong. Plus, I will tell you this. I also have so I have my iPod is full. You know, luckily I had synced that, folks. That was synced regularly. So my iPod was synced like a couple days before all this shit hit the fan. And I've lost all the stuff that I didn't have checkmarked, but I still have but now, so then I said to the genius, I go, "Hey, is there a way to get iTunes Music back on your computer?" "No, not really." He goes, "It's part of the recording industry's deal with us for iTunes. Like, they won't let us go ahead and just put music back on." And then one of the guys goes, "Well, there are programs. If you Google it, you can find a program, and then go ahead and just do it." And the other genius shoots him a look like, "Shh, stop! Quit giving away our secrets." Like, I expected that. I wanted to see a genius fight. That would have been hysterical. Just like guys throwing punches and then numbers flying out of their heads. It would have been genius. Truly genius. It would have been a genius fight.
Hi, it's Brian Noonan. You're listening to the 40-Year-Old Boy, iTunes' 70th favorite audio comedy podcast, right here on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. At what point does cult favorite become an insult? I think when you're 71st.
And now, the 40-Year-Old Boy presents A Tale from the Road.
Cincinnati, 1997. I'm on the road, and the thing is, I go there Friday morning, and the thing is, when you're on the road, you never know who you're going to work with. You just show up in town and they tell you. And that particular weekend, I find out I'm working with a satanic doo-wop group. Yeah, I didn't even know there was one that existed, let alone getting booked across the country. But that week, I got to follow them.
Oh, Lucifer, you're the one. You got that forky tongue, and you're covered in scales.
Fortunately, they were great. Unfortunately, I had to follow them. And let me tell you something, folks. I chewed it that night. Horrible.
This has been A Tale from the Road from the 40-Year-Old Boy.
So my phone eats it, my laptop eats it, and then I'm wondering if the iPhone did something to the laptop, like because I had to sync them together, like because it was the newer iPhone and the laptop from 2006. I don't fucking know these things, folks. I don't get to wear the blue shirt with Genius on the sleeve. You know what's funny? They have that shirt. It literally says Genius on the sleeve. When you go into Apple, they should make you wear like a green shirt that says dope. Because you're the dope who has to talk to the genius. Or a dunce cap. That'd even be funnier. Dunce. And you have to sit in the corner until they call your name 9 hours after you had your appointment. So my laptop ate. And this is not even the worst thing that ever happened to me with a laptop. When I first came out to Los Angeles, like, I don't know, 2000 might have been, I went to buy a laptop, and I'm at Best Buy, and they go, "Hey, you need to buy this laptop that has Windows ME." And I don't even know what that is. I'm like, "Oh, what is it?" And they're like, "Oh, it's kind of like, it's like the newest Windows, sort of, maybe." And I'm like, "All right, I'm in." Windows ME, which actually should have been Windows FU, quite frankly, because it was within a week they had, I think, Vista or whatever the new operating system was, and I was just fucked because ME, who the fuck cares? But I get the laptop, and then the cool thing about having a new laptop or a new car or a new iPhone, you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to do all the cool stuff with it." So the first night I take it, and you know what? This will tell you just how much of a lack of progression there's been in my life. I bought this laptop. This is probably, like I said, 2000. The first night I had it, I was working the desk. I was working the fucking security desk and helped a guy move a couch. All right. So I'm bringing the laptop there, and I get there at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm all excited, and I got a case for the laptop, and I put my stuff down, and I pull the laptop out of the case, and I go to put it on the desk, and I drop the fucking laptop. First night, drop it. I mean, from like, if you're pulling it out of your case, and it was around eye level, and so it's about a 5-foot drop right to the ground. Bam! It bounces. And I'm like, oh no! And that's like weird thing, because normally if I drop shit, I'll soccer kick it. Like I've done it a million times. I've dropped a dish or a glass, and I'll put my foot out, and because it's you stop it from hitting the ground then, and you're kind of I'm not a fucking seal. I can't catch it and flip it in the air and on my nose, but I can you can kind of deflect it and make sure it doesn't fucking break. But there was a chair in front of me. It was like an awkward thing, so I was pulling it around to put it on the desk, and I dropped it, and I went to kind of soccer kick it, and instead I kicked the chair, and then I'm like, well, maybe the chair will catch it, but no. Instead, it completely missed the chair and just boom. Bounced on the fucking ground. Brand new laptop that I had, and again, this is back then, so it's like, $2,800 laptop, whatever the fuck. So I'm like, oh, dude, that did not just fucking happen from that height. Like, there's no way. And I freak. And then I'm like, all right, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. So I pick it up, and I turn it on, I put it on the, and it was like, this laptop had a latch. I mean, it's the old school ones. You know what I mean? It's like, it might as well have had like a lock and key on it. I mean, it was like that crazy old. So I click the latch, and I pull it up, and plastic falls out. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's really not good. Because there weren't any loose pieces on it in the store. I know for a fact there was not like plastic casings that, oh no, really? And sure enough, I look around the edge, and like I cracked all, like on the edge of the screen, like not the screen, the edge of the top, like on the corner. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the plastic molding like broke off, and like I open, I'm like, okay, I hope all the information doesn't leak out of that new hole in my laptop. So I turn it on, and it comes on fine. Like it starts to start up, and I'm like, oh, dodged a bullet. So I start to set it up. You've got to do the things where you're registering it, and you're doing all these different things, and I'm going to put Word in it. I'm all excited, and I'm figuring it out. And so I start working on it for like half an hour. I forget it. I forget the fact that I've dropped it from a great height. I forget the fact that plastic came out of it when I opened up the top. I'm like, that's not a problem, right? That's no problem at all. So I'm working on it, and all of a sudden, it starts to make this noise. Like I mean, this high-pitched, like it just starts going, like it starts making a high-pitched noise, but it's still working. There's no smoke coming out of it. Nothing bad has happened yet, and but I don't know what that noise is. And then, I'm not lying to you, this noise quintuples in volume. Like it goes from like like ee to like this loud screech comes out of the computer. It's the only, you know what it is? It's the sound I imagine Lily's cat made when they turned him into ashes. It's that kind of loud. I mean, it sounds like a police siren, but without the fun variance, the musicality of a police siren. Like a police siren at least goes like woo woo woo. This is just like woo, like this horrible test pattern. I mean, it's just, and I don't know what to do. I start hitting buttons, and I start doing. I turn the computer off. It's still making the noise. I yank the plug out of the wall and turn it off, and go to reboot it. It's still making the noise, and I to the point where I have to put it in the case because it's so loud. It's just this. I'm waiting for the windows to shatter. I think it's fucking Ella Fitzgerald about to smash a wine glass. It is the weirdest, loudest, high-pitched screech of all time. It sounds like you're cooking the biggest lobster ever. And I put it in the case, and then finally it goes, and it stops. It like finally stops. And I lose my mind. I go, oh no, what was that? Like it was terrible. So the next day, I immediately call HP, and I tell them I can't believe that my new computer is making this loud noise. And when I took it out of the box, plastic came off of it. So, of course, first I should say I called Best Buy, and they're like, I got to call HP. I called HP and told them all this, and I thought I could bring it to Best Buy and just get a new one. And they're like, well, boy, that doesn't sound like anything we've ever heard of, like a high-pitched noise coming out of the computer. It seems weird. And you say it was broken? I go, yeah, when I opened it up, there was plastic like coming out of it. And it almost seems like somebody might have dropped it or something. So they, of course, because they're HP, they tell me I have to mail it to them so they can look at it and repair it. Now, again, folks, it's my new toy. Like I've only had it a day, and I dropped it, sure, but still, I don't give up. I'm like, all right, well, hopefully they send me a fucking replacement. When they see, I go, fine, okay. So I got to box it up, and then I got to send it. I got to ship it, I think, to San Francisco, and then they have it for like 10 days. And then they mail it back to me. They go, oh, it's fine. We took a look at it. We ran the diagnostics, and everything's fine. We repaired the little plastic part, and everything's good. I said, okay, great. And I had that laptop for, years. We still have it. I don't ever use it. It's just sitting there. Now it's a hunk of shit. But periodically, I would say, like, once every 5 times I would use it, that huge fucking noise would come shooting out of it. One time I actually called HP while it was happening, and I said, hey, my computer's making this noise, and I just put the phone up to it. And then I pulled them back. I go, I sent it to you guys. You said to check the diagnostics, and everything's fine. Does that sound fine to you? That sounds like I've got like 1,000 mice in a blender. And they said there was nothing they could do about it. They go, well, we don't know. Unless you want to mail it to us, we'll check the diagnostics. I go, you already did that. Seriously, at the most inopportune times. I would be on the road. It would do it in the hotel room, and I would have to put it under the mattress until the noise stopped because it was oppressively loud. One time, I would be in Chicago, and I'd be at Mex's house, and then he'd go to bed, and I'd still be up at 4 a.m. working the computer, and then it would start in his house. And every time it would start, I'd yank the cord out of the wall, have to close it, and then I'd literally have to squeeze it, and put it under the couch cushion so it didn't wake up everybody in the goddamn house. It was that loud. So I guess my hard drive crashing with a question mark folder is pretty much par for the fucking course. I should be thankful that happened without some sort of ear-piercing, fucking mind-melting noise shooting out of my machine like a death ray. Technology's after me, folks. iPhone, laptop today. I just before I left the house, turned on a TV, DirecTV pixelated, won't turn channels. The box is fucking fried. I'm telling you, there's a magnet in my ass. Something is going on. All I know is if you meet me, don't shake my hand because it might be transferable, and then I'll ruin all of your stuff too. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. That's 40, always the 40. And you can find me at Twitter. I don't know why, but you can at Twitter/the40-year-old-boy. Or Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Yeah. So go follow me on Twitter. And that's a lot of pressure. I signed up for Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to figure out why people keep writing that they stubbed their toe, because they feel obligated to put something on Twitter. Like, I'll be sitting there at night, and I go, I should put something on Twitter, right? Shouldn't I? No, you shouldn't. You don't have anything good or funny to say. I mean, why would you do that? And people who wrote me were nice enough to follow me and said, oh, my God, it's going to be hilarious following you. No, it isn't. It's going to be a once-a-week post telling you that the podcast is ready. That's where all the hilarity is. Not a lot of 140-character hilarity going out over my cell phone. But you know what? Go ahead and please follow me and go visit my Twitter page if only to see the new artwork that we have in the back. Literally, as always, Mex's artwork outclasses anything that it's being used for. So go look at the artwork that we have on the back of the, at least until Twitter sees that there's a bullet hole in a kid's head. So once they see that, they'll yank it down. But until then, please, by all means, go check out that and follow me on Twitter. And that will be great because I really need to have more people ignoring me. All right. Because that's even worse when you Twitter something and then you don't hear back from anybody. I didn't know that people wrote you back. Like, I would Twitter stuff, and just yesterday, I've been doing it for a week. Just yesterday, I clicked on this thing and said, at the 40-year-old boy, and I saw an entire page of people who've answered me. I didn't know that existed. I thought you just put out messages into the ether and then that was it. But now it turns out people are like writing me back or so what that means is like anytime the 40-year-old boy is mentioned, it shows up on that page. And there have been people who've mentioned me. So thanks. And I'm glad you're following me or listening. And Christ, I hope I can live up to your expectations. I'm sure I won't. But at least I'll try. As those ominous notes of Sneaky Christ tell you, it's time for me, Mike Schmidt, to tell you that you need to purchase a year one download set. That's right, it's available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Go ahead and get to the store and go ahead and download all of the magic of year one. As a matter of fact, Lily has earbuds in during the recording of year two, listening to year one, because she remembers when this show was great. Also, you guys might want to buy Skull Pie t-shirts, also available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Go to the store, get a year one download set, get a Skull Pie t-shirt, take them to the beach, enjoy yourself for the summer. Why not? You know what, you might even see me and Lily there, because we do that. We have Geiger counters and headsets. We're all hoping to unearth some change so we can go ahead and stop doing this show. But please, unearth your own change. Send it to me so you can buy a Skull Pie t-shirt, and you can also buy a year one download set. That's right, 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast. Hey, there's a new article up at Comedy Film Nerds, a new column up at comedyfilmnerds.com, written by me. You may already know this as I sent it out on my Twitter. Oh, God, kill me. But yeah, if you go there, it's my take on why I haven't been to the movies, or why I haven't written on that site. So go check out the new column I wrote at comedyfilmnerds.com and read all the columns there. But start with mine because it's great. And also, I forgot to mention last week that I was on the Paul Goebel podcast. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but I didn't know when it was going to air. Then last week I didn't mention it, and he uploaded it. So, we're playing podcast tag, but please know that I'm on episode, I think, 148, maybe? Because there's a new one up now. Paul, who puts up podcasts every 3 weeks or every month, once a month, then all of a sudden mine's up for a week, and then there's a new one up. So I don't know how that worked. Apparently, he's got a backlog of incredibly great shows. And that one's with the guy from Freaks and Geeks. So quite frankly, fucking ignore mine. Who cares? I mean, I'm sure the one with Sam Levine is hysterical. So go listen to that one instead. But if you're bored, I was the one just before it. So go ahead and download that. And also, the most important plug of all, folks, our friend Lily Von Stupp, who is here. And you can get her at Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. And also, this coming Monday, July 20th, is the Quentin Tarantino Burlesque Festival Film Extravaganza at the Monday Night Teas at the 3 Clubs in Hollywood on Santa Monica and Vine. The show is, there's, tons of performers. There's going to be a Lux Lacroix is going to be there, a Vixen Violette, a Kimberly Rose, a Dizzy Von Dam, a Lulu Linares, a Red Snapper and Mr. Snapper. I will tell you, I'm a fan of them. And so you should come out to the show. I'm going to be hosting it, which means I'll be facilitating and getting acts up there. But who cares about me? There will be hot girls there dancing to great music. So come on out to the Monday Night Teas. See Lily, and she doesn't have a cast, but sign her leg. Yeah, let's do that. We won't sign her cast. We can all sign her leg because she'll be injured. But it's the Monday Night Teas at the 3 Clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It's 10 o'clock Monday, July 20th. It's $20 if you get tickets at brownpapertickets.com beforehand. Different at the door? 25 at the door. If you guys are lazy and you wait like me, you'll be paying $5 extra. And it's well worth it. I mean, of course it is, but why cost yourself the $5? Save that $5 and get yourself a drink. So buy tickets ahead of time and come in and drink and have a good time and enjoy the Monday Night Teas / Tarantino Extravaganza this Monday, July 20th at the 3 Clubs. And buy yourself a nice wine. Go ahead and have wine. They have wine there? They have wine. I went to a wine tasting over the weekend, and I don't drink. So why would I go, you wonder? Well, here's why. I went to this restaurant called Palette, which is in Pasadena, which is ranked as one of the top 100 restaurants in America by Esquire magazine. Yeah, that's right. I screw around on a Saturday afternoon and go to those fucking highfalutin places. I've been there with Lily before, actually, and Lily ordered 40 different cheeses. That was brutal. Just a fromage fuck. I mean, it was just like this crazy hubcap full of cheese. But this time we went because they were having a wine tasting, and from the vineyards of Maynard James Keenan, who is the lead singer of Tool, and he was going to be there. And I am a fan of them. So and Karen likes wine. I said, this is perfect for us. And Karen likes Maynard because when we went I dragged her to see Tool, and he's very charismatic. He's so charismatic. He's almost behind the drum set the entire concert singing, and yet you can't take your fucking eyes off of him. And the other, Danny, the rest of the guys in the band are all fucking amazing musicians, but you're staring at Maynard because you're just like, dude, I don't know what it is. The guy's got that. So we walk into the wine house, and he's there. And it was only like $5 each, so we get in there, and Karen starts drinking some wines. She's having a good time, knocking back like wine after wine. And Maynard is there. And here's the thing. Maynard has a reputation of he's like a smart-ass guy, and he's you know, I mean, he's just, I didn't want to give him the chance to be a shithead to me. Let's put it that way. Because I've heard that he might be that guy. So I wasn't going to talk to him. I was like, all right, well, no, I can't deal with this. I don't want, because the last thing I want to do, because again, it's in my head, but I'm nobody. I get that. I'm nobody, and he is a rich, famous, confident, successful singer in a band that I love. And the last thing I want to do is give him a chance to be a shithead to me, so I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not even, because I've heard too much, because I'm normally not that guy. Like, I don't bother celebrity types, but I mean, I don't mind saying hello. But he was a guy, like, I just didn't, because he's got to, the last thing I needed him to do was say something shitty to me, and then I was going to be like, oh, fuck you, dude. So I wasn't going to even bother him. So we sit down. Karen's drinking more wine. She's two-fisted at this point. She actually has a long, curvy straw that she's put in our neighbor's wine, and she's drinking it out of their glass. Karen is just pounding. So, which is great news, because then hopefully we'll get out to the car, and then she can spill something on my new phone. So, so she's half in the bag. We order some food. They have like a grilled cheese and then more cheese. It's a cheese place, folks. And there's a table set up next to us with food, but nobody's sitting at it. So as we're sitting there, Maynard James Keenan comes over and he starts eating. That's his table that they've set up for him. And Karen goes, she looks at me and she's like, and I'm like, yeah, I know. And then she says, oh, we love your wine. And he goes, thank you. And she says, do you recommend any particular one? And he goes, well, it depends on what you're eating. And he keeps eating, and then I'm like, I even said, like, I'm like, I don't want to, because if he's shitty to her, then I got to put him through a wall. Like, I don't want that to happen. So I'm just like, and I look at her and I go, let the man eat his lunch. And she's like, what? It's okay. So anyway, I read a lot about your this, and he's like, oh yeah, that wine has gotten a lot of awards. It's gotten like, silver medal, gold medal, da-da-da. And he's getting along with Karen. He's being nice. So I decide, well, maybe I can ask him a question. And I look at him and I go, I said, I understand it's a wine tasting and you're probably here for that. I said, but I wanted to ask, on this summer tour that you're doing, are there going to be any dates in Los Angeles? And he looks at me and he just goes, I don't know. And he grins right in my face and he just keeps eating. And that's it. He doesn't say, check the website. He doesn't say, I'm not sure. He doesn't say, I will see. He just goes, I don't know. Smiles in my face and keeps eating. Just a fuck you. Just like a complete, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still it was shitty. Like, I mean, dude, say something. Just anything. And I fucking just like, I go, oh, okay. I just shrink. Like, because I mean, I said I wasn't going to say anything and give him the opportunity to do anything like that, and he fucking did. God damn it, I was pissed. So we go to leave. Karen buys a bottle of wine, and he's signing bottles of wine. And Karen brings the wine up to get a signature. And she goes, will you sign our wine? And again, she's like lit. And he goes, yeah. And he takes a pen and he writes Maynard James Keenan 09 in his brain. What I see is he drew a seismograph on the bottle of wine. I mean, it looks like you just gave a child a Sharpie and went, yeah, do that, and then write a 09 after it. I mean, it's just this weird, a bunch of lines. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So he writes that, and he blows on the thing to make sure that ink dries, and he goes to hand it to Karen, and she goes, could you write to Karen? And he goes, you can. And goes to hand her the pen and the wine. And I'm like, it's this weird moment in time just kind of hanging there. And she goes, come on, you can do it. And part of me was going to stop her, but then part of me was like, fuck that. He deserves this. I mean, you know what? He needs a drunk chick telling him to do something at this point. And then he just started laughing because she was so cute when she did it. She wasn't mean or like rude. She just goes, come on, you can do it. And like puts her hand on his arm. And he goes, no, I seriously, and he kind of stammers and he laughs. And then she goes, you're a beautiful man. And just takes the wine and walks away. Just left him standing there holding the Sharpie. And I was so happy. I was like, good for you. Because you know what? Be yourself. That's what you should fucking do. I'm all timid and weird and I don't want to talk to him. But she fucking just, you know what? Could you sign it to Karen? And he goes, no, you can. And she did like Teflon. Deflects right off her. Come on, you can do it. Well, no, really, you're a beautiful man. Takes the wine and walks away. Awesome. And I followed her outside and she's just smoking. She's like, he signed it. It was so great. I'm like, yes, it was great. Because my wife is the cutest person ever. And we just went outside. And then I'm like, do me a favor, don't put the wine on my phone. Seriously, hold on to the wine. Because I know somehow you would find a way to put it on top of the phone, and then his signature would bleed through, and then like in Maine, I would have Maynard spelled wine like on top of my iPhone, and it would be fucking. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.